Good morning. Today I'm working on a second coat of primer, and I'm going to show you how to prepare that. I let this sit overnight. It's good to let the first coat sit for a while to get good. I'm going to try real quick a scratch test to make sure that this is sticking well. If not, I need to sand it down again and re-prime it. And to do the scratch test, I simply just take my finger, and as you can see, the paint doesn't come off. It does leave a little tiny scratch mark in the paint, but the paint's not coming off. So that means this is adhering well, so I can move on to the next step, which is sanding. So to sand, I am just using a 180 block. If you post on Facebook, what do you sand with, you'll probably get 30 different answers from 2 people. It's just preference. This is what I had on hand. It's a 180, and you can see that at the end there it says 180. And I like using a block for this because I can just just go real quick with it, and I don't have to worry about the paper bunching up and cluttering up. So to sand, I always go with the grain, which this was a veneer top, so it really didn't technically have a grain, but my paint strokes create a slight grain. So I'm just going to go over, and what I'm doing is I'm not trying to take the paint off. I'm getting rid of any ridges and trying to get this really smooth. I'm looking for areas like this where there's paint built up from where I went over the edge. And when painting, and I try to do my edges first and then drag it across, but sometimes I may go back and realize, oh, I missed a spot, and so I'll re-hit it with the paintbrush, and it creates these little blobs. And I don't like to go back over because it then makes this stuff, after it's already a little tacky because it's already begun to dry, it makes thicker ridges. So I try to just kind of leave that, and then I just take the sander and I just smooth that down. And it's okay that I'm taking a little of that off because I am going to coat again, but it gets rid of that bump. And I have more over here. Let me put this down here, show that again, and just go over that. Don't want to go too deep. And so it still looks really solid, but when I run my hand over that, it's now smooth. It doesn't take much. I noticed a spot here as well, and it's real rough. And you can see on my first coat, I didn't catch this part, but I will get it on the next coat. In fact, this whole ridge here, I did not really get very well. So I'm just going to run this up and down, being careful because it's kind of thin there. But that's got it. It's nice and smooth, so that's how you sand it down. Then what I do is I take, hold on just a second here, what I do with it, oh, here it is. I'm going to use a glove for this part because I do not like the feel of this stuff, but it's just simply a tacky cloth. And it's a very sticky cloth, very gooey, gummy. I don't know what they put on it to make it sticky. I haven't read all the package, but I don't like how it feels. And it's very difficult to wash off, so I try to use a glove, and I just wipe all the little fuzz balls. Sand, okay. I make up words, I'm sorry. Wipe all that little sanding dust off, sawdust off, the paint dust actually. And I just go over it like that. Then you can do the whole thing. Let me get this real quick on the sides. And this is my sides are already rougher because this was real wood. The front was veneer, so it was very smooth. But you can see I've got a lot of chunks. So what I'm going to do is just rub that over really fast. I'm not going to worry about this. That's just too much wood grain there naturally. So I'm going to leave that in because that's going to show that my drawer sides are real wood. There's a little bit of rough there on the edges. And I did sand this beforehand, but sometimes the paint helps to make things a little more noticeable. Fixing things up here. And you can see I'm just doing this very quickly. I'm not taking a lot of time. I'm going to check the inside of the drawer. Just run with the grain to get out all those little ridges. And I think that's good to go. Oops, I missed this side here. And that's how quickly it takes. It doesn't have to take long. And then just wipe it down with my sticky tacky cloth. And get all those little particles out. Sometimes I'll take, and I keep a Swiffer on hand, because if I make more dust than what I want to go in the tack cloth, I'll just give it a quick go over with this first to get the bigger particles off so I don't fill up my tacky cloth so quickly. And that's all there is to it. So that's how you sand, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to, let me rub my hand in through here real quick one more time. This stuff collects very quickly, so it doesn't take long to wipe it down. All right, fine, go over there. And then what I'm going to do here, it's ready to paint. Grab my paint, grab my brush, and I just paint over top of it. Nice, long, even strokes. The best way to do this with painting furniture is thin coats to eliminate thicker ridges. It'll give you a finer, smoother surface. And I sand between each coat. That way it comes out looking very, very smooth, very, very nice, very, very professional at the end. And as you can see, I've got a little bump here where there was something in my brush. I just knock it off and then re-grab it real quick at this point, because you don't want those little bumps in there to fleck off later. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.